Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the October episode of the Ranger Roundup, hosted at Walker's Pub on campus. I am David Wilson, your host, the Assistant AD for Communications. Before we get into tonight's fall sports coverage, I want to take a quick moment to thank Regis ITS again for their help in putting on this show each month. We'll be talking some Regis men's soccer, Regis golf, and Rangers volleyball this evening, starting with head men's soccer coach Taylor Diem and senior center back Kyle Bergmeyer. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Well, Coach, just jumping right into it, if you could give us an update on your season to date. I know the team has battled through a lot of injuries, but we're coming off of two crucial wins last week and still in the playoff picture as we head into this week.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, it's been a tough season. Not only, I think, opposition-wise. Again, we've played, one of the toughest schedules in program history. The injuries obviously haven't helped, but to the point that you've made, we've found ways to still be competitive in games. Definitely a few that we dropped that we feel like we probably could have won, but ultimately still in a position here with 2 games left where we're competing for a spot in the conference tournament. So at the end of the season, that's all you can ask for, is that you still have a chance. So.
2 games this week to close the regular season, starting with tomorrow's showdown against number 6 CSU Pueblo. The team, as you alluded to, has played well against ranked opponents this year. Have ties against Cal State, San Bernardino, and Colorado Mesa at Grand Junction. Just what do you kind of anticipate with this matchup against the Thunderwolves tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, Pueblo's obviously done a really good job over the last 2 to 3 years. They would be ranked top 10 in the country if they weren't a quality side. So, we definitely expect a tough game. But at the same time, we feel like, we're starting to find some form here. So definitely a good opportunity tomorrow to face a ranked opponent, but ultimately, show what we can do and hopefully put one more step forward in terms of, putting ourselves in a position where, after Sunday's game, it has some meaning and, we're still in a spot where, we are competing for a conference tournament berth. So tough game, but definitely one we feel like we can get up for and get a result out of.
Yeah, I alluded to that second game against UCCS on Sunday, which could be, important for a lot of reasons. But with Kyle as one of your 4 graduating seniors being honored Sunday, what do you anticipate this day will be like for you from a senior's perspective and going through senior day?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. It's a weird feeling. I mean, I feel like I got here yesterday, so it's having a senior day already is a weird feeling. Obviously, we put ourselves in a spot now where we still have an opportunity to get things done, and like you said, it's really all you can ask for. So, I mean, I'm excited for the game. We know that they're a quality team. Perhaps the results haven't shown that necessarily for them, but we know, especially from last year and watching some film this year, that it's still a very quality side, and we're expecting a great game. But it's a little bit added for some of the older guys, and the potential that it's the last game here, that a little bit added for us. But yeah, it's very excited about it.
Coach, when you think of Kyle and this senior class, what have they meant to you, the program, and this 2023 team?
Oh, yeah, if you look at, Kyle, Carter, Mitch is kind of our 3 lone seniors right now. Obviously, Ben's a guy who, joined us for this fall, but is ultimately playing his last college season. I mean, these are guys who came in during COVID, so, and we all understand those are very difficult circumstances. I mean, they came into a fall season where we were training in groups of like 6 and 7 and 8, and, really in not ideal situations to be a college soccer player, but ultimately, found their way out of that, put in a lot of work over the last 2 to 3 years to ultimately get into a position where, where we are today. So, incredibly grateful to have these guys part of the program and looking forward to celebrating them on Sunday.
Kyle specifically has been a huge part of this defense the last 4 years. Has started 42 of 48 games. What has he brought to the table, intangibles, leadership, on and off the field to this team?
Yeah, I mean, even you kind of named it there as a freshman, sophomore, as a junior was a staple in our back line, so obviously speaks to the type of player that he is. I mean, quality defender, good on the ball, everything that we look for, in a defender and obviously a player of our team. I think this year specifically, kind of after the departures of some of the players last year and last spring, gave Kyle an opportunity to kind of grow into the leader that he has. So, I've been really, really happy with not only his development as a player, but overall his development as a person as well. And, ask any of the guys on the team, who their leaders, and he's the one they point to. So, again, he's done a really good job on the field, but ultimately he's really developed as a person and a leader of our program over the last, year and a half. So very, very happy to be in a position where, we do get to celebrate him on Sunday, and, he'll be a big part of that result either way. So.
Kyle, kind of a cool moment earlier this year. You scored your first career goal against Colorado Mesa, had some family in the stands. What's that moment like for a defenseman? Don't give any goal scoring opportunities.
Yeah, it was special. It was an odd night, but one that I kind of left with somewhat of a good feeling because, like you said, it was my first collegiate goal. It was alumni night. Obviously it tied up the game with about a half hour to go, and got to celebrate with the alumni in front of a great crowd that night. It was a great night in terms of the fans that were there. So it was a kind of a bittersweet goal to score, but it was really nice to score my first collegiate goal for sure.
How does that rank against a good slide tackle or getting a shutout as a defenseman?
For me, I mean, a slide tackle is something that I love. It's going to ground and hitting somebody and doing my job is something that I think a defender needs. Something that I really pride myself in defending. So a good slide tackle is definitely up there, but I would take a clean sheet every day of the week over scoring every day of the week.
All right. It's the answer the coach wants to hear from his defenseman, right? Clean sheets more than goals.
Absolutely.
Coach, back to focusing on this year. Last year's team went on a torrid run, winning the last 4 games of the regular season to advance to the RMAC tournament. Did last year's experience give the group confidence that you guys already winners of 2 straight, needing 2 wins, this win can do it again?
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy how similar this year has kind of ended up as opposed to last year. I mean, you kind of said it. We had our backs up against the wall, sitting in, I think, 8th or 9th place with 4 games left, and ultimately the team was able to put some results together to punch our ticket to the RMAC tournament. This year, very similar. So in that sense, a week ago we had a very similar conversation, just in terms of we've done it before, and we're in a very similar position in terms of not being where we'd like to, but still having opportunities to win games and hopefully get ourselves into the tournament. So. Oddly similar to last year, but again, you mentioned it. We've kind of taken care of our first 2 games, and the message to the guy was always take it one game at a time, because ultimately you don't get a result on a Thursday and the game Sunday, next Thursday, the next Sunday after that don't really mean a lot. So it's been take it one game at a time, and put one good foot in front of the other, and ultimately make it a situation where that next game means something. So the boys have done a good job taking care of the first 2 results, and ultimately the job is still left to be taken care of in terms of winning these next 2 games, and then the rest kind of takes care of itself.
And that kind of segues into this question for you guys. Obviously, our hope is to be playing soccer into November, but for you two, regardless of how the chips fall, how this weekend goes, whatever help we may need, what are your goals, and what would you like to see in this final week of the regular season? Whether it's in practice, it's how we play. What do you want to see this final week of the regular season? And that's for both of you.
You can answer that.
For me, it's just how you treat everything. The practice this week has been better. We're raising the level, knowing what we have to get done this weekend, and we've talked a lot about how you do anything is how you do everything. So approaching each practice, each session, each drill, whether it's the warm up or a session where we're going 11v11 to prepare for the game, everything should be treated the same ultimately. So that for us, it's. The goal should just be take it one play at a time, take it one day at a time, and focus on each thing individually. So tomorrow we'll come out, and for the guys that need treatment, they got to focus on that and really focus on getting their bodies right for tomorrow, tonight, and making sure you're putting the right thing in your body for the game tomorrow. So the goal genuinely should just be put everything you have out there, do it all the right way, and the result will take care of itself.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of hit the nail on the head there. I mean, I guess the unfortunate side of the game of soccer is that you could play really, really well and still not end up with the result, unfortunately. And that's probably happened to us a few times this season already. Of course, would love to be sitting here, the end of Sunday with 2 wins under our belt. Ultimately, that puts a little bit of pressure on the teams who are in front of us to go and get the results as well. But Kyle said it. I mean, for me, if we can put out 2 quality performances that, when we've walked off the field that we're proud of, knowing that we couldn't have given any more, we kind of emptied the tank and left it out in the field, again, the result typically takes care of itself. But as long as we've put every foot forward that we can, I'll be proud of the boys and how they played, regardless of how the results come. So again, would love to be 6 points after this weekend and hopefully in a position where we're in the conference tournament. But either way, as long as the guys play well, if they give everything they have, then there's not a lot you can frown on.
Well, guys, I know we'll be rooting for you. Looking forward to celebrating your senior class on Sunday, which might be a chilly Sunday, but we'll get to that. But before we let you go, do have a quick round of rapid-fire questions for you. Just give me the first answer that pops in your head. Nothing too tricky on this sheet. What's the go-to Halloween costume, Kyle?
Oh gosh. I would say a soldier. I mean, I grew up in Colorado Springs, right off base, so something like that would be the go-to for me.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't dressed up for Halloween in probably 6 years. I now hand out candy at my home. So
could you do Tony? Could you be Tony for Halloween?
I don't know if I could pull that off.
All right, favorite scary movie?
The Conjuring.
I'm gonna say the original Exorcism.
Good answers. All right. Since it's the last time I get to talk to you guys before a couple holidays, we're going to go right into the next one. Best side dish at Thanksgiving?
Scallop potatoes, not mashed potatoes, scallop potatoes.
I'm going to go say stuffing or mashed potatoes and gravy.
Coach wins. It's obviously stuffing or mashed potatoes and gravy. With snow in the forecast this weekend, as we kind of alluded to, are you a skier or are you a snowboarder?
Snowboarder.
Snowboarder.
If you didn't play your current sport, what would you have played, Kyle?
Probably American football.
What position?
I played wide receiver growing up.
What about you, Coach?
Be playing golf.
Shout out to our golfers who are up next. And then just last question in this rapid fire. What has been your favorite moment of the fall semester to date? Was it a moment in practice? Was it a moment on the road trip? Moment on the pitch? Just the one that comes to mind, your favorite from this fall semester?
I'd say the away trip in California was pretty sweet. Obviously getting a big result against Azusa in that second game of the season was probably the best feeling of the year for us, yeah.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. And I'll take a bigger picture. I think, this year, again, the results haven't gone our way and, probably not exactly in the spot where we'd like to be right now. But, I can't knock the guys, and their personalities. I genuinely, again, even though we're not in the position we'd like to right now, this group has been one of the more enjoyable groups to be around, and just in terms of off-the-field type stuff. So, yeah, the California trip was definitely a highlight. We got some results and tested ourselves against some top opponents. Obviously, California is not a bad spot to spend some time either, but we genuinely just enjoyed spending time with this group on and off the field throughout, the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season.
Well, Jim, I want to thank you for joining us. Best of luck this week, and hopefully we're still playing in November. When we return on the Ranger Roundup, we will be talking with head golf coach Peter Punier, senior golfer Ryan Schwainer, and graduate student Meredith Booz. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the second segment of the Ranger Roundup, joined now by head golf coach Peter Punier, as well as senior Ryan Schwainer and graduate student Meredith Booz. Welcome to all three of you.
Thanks for having us.
Coach just wrapped up the fall season for both squads. If you could, just a quick synopsis for both teams and how the fall season went.
A lot of new assistant coach, 11 new student athletes. So a lot of new tournaments we played in, a lot of new golf courses we went to. It was a lot of new, but a lot of correct steps we needed to take from last spring to this fall.
I'm gonna have to hide my notes, Coach. You can't be looking at my notes. Because next question, it was a busy off season for the golf program, adding a new full-time assistant in Miranda Green, renovating the golf locker room, adding 11 newcomers between the two teams. Yeah. How do you feel about the progress that the program has made so far versus when you started your first year?
Good. Yeah, we took a lot of big steps. I think some of the tournaments not exactly the results we wanted, but a lot of learning experiences, and a lot of people that have really stepped up in terms of leadership roles, and getting 9 freshmen acclimated to college life. So really excited about the progress we made kind of on those fronts.
Any future plans incoming? Anything else? Any other updates or upgrades that you foresee coming in the near future?
We're fundraising for 2 simulators and a putting green. So working on that right now. Obviously continue to help all 20 student athletes, continue to develop and continue to get better, and hopefully have a really successful spring season.
You'll need Phillip and Jackson to change swipe access as soon as you get the simulators. You're going to have the entire department down there.
Probably.
in terms of newcomers, Meredith is one of those newcomers after transferring in from Montana. Meredith, first question for you is, what attracted you to coming to Regis and joining this golf program as a graduate student?
Well, yeah, the graduate program was obviously a factor in it. I have a couple more years left to use since I graduated early. My younger brother plays on the team, so that's a pretty awesome dynamic to have. And coach is an awesome person, an awesome coach. And it's with him and Miranda, it's definitely someone that I've wanted to continue my time with.
Yeah, as you alluded to, Zeke, being a freshman on the team, what has that experience been like getting to play collegiate golf with your sibling at the same school? And who's the better golfer between the two?
I would always say I am. We've gone neck and neck a lot of times, but it's a fun dynamic, like I said. It's kind of a full circle moment just because he's what got me into golf my junior year of high school, so it's awesome to be back with him.
Coach, on the men's side, you got a really young team flanked with three elder statesmen with Ryan, Cooper Carmody, and Juan Gonzalez. How has Ryan and that group, those three guys, grown as leaders since your time here?
Yeah, I mean, those are our three captains for the men's side. And, you know, between the three of them, they have a lot of college golf experience, including college golf experience during a pandemic, which obviously was extremely hard for all college athletes. But being able to, you know, gather all their experiences. Obviously, Cooper having a different experience his first couple of years with me at Roosevelt, and then coming here, joining by Juan and Ryan, who, you know, they've had an up and down type experience here. And so, yeah, a lot of college golf experience to pass on to obviously 7 other underclassmen who, you know, we're going to be relying on as well come the springtime.
Ryan, for you, how have you seen your role change since you became a kind of a full-time starter in the lineup as a sophomore, got to enjoy being an underclassman, and now you've experienced the coaching change to Peter and had to grow into a leadership role with such a young team now behind you. How has your role changed and how have you adapted this last 3 years?
I think the biggest thing is just helping out Peter and Miranda with the 5 freshmen any way I can. Trying to be a good role model for all the 5 freshmen, the 2 sophomores, and just showing the right way to act on and off the golf course at the same time.
How do you think your game has improved or grown since you were a sophomore?
I think I've definitely got a little bit more consistent, dialed in the misses slightly, hopefully got a little bit better short game as well. So.
And we have a chip in on video to prove it from when I came back from your guys'
Yep.
Media Day video. Coach, this is for you and Ryan. The men's team hosted its first home tournament since 2015, just a couple weeks ago with the Centennial Cup. What was that experience like, and what do you kind of anticipate with that event in the future as we try and grow it?
Go for it.
Yeah, I think, you know, obviously a lot of hard work hosting for the first time between Miranda and I, really, you know, trying to find teams that, you know, fit what we're looking for in terms of hosting. But yeah, it was a really good experience. It was on a good venue. We had, you know, it was our best tournament of the fall for, you know, the men's team in terms of just score a shot. But yeah, it was super exciting. We're looking to, you know, really grow it, you know, more teams. Obviously, you know, in the future hosting a women's event. And yeah, just continuing to build on kind of our, you know, successes and really adjust what worked, what didn't, and yeah, continuing to grow it from there.
And for you, Ryan, from a golfer's perspective, getting to have your first home tournament since you've been here, sleep in your own bed, not have that 6-hour bus trip to Albuquerque or something. What was that like?
It was pretty awesome, like just being able to go home, see some friendly faces in the crowd. I know for me, I had 2 of my roommates come watch me, so that was cool to play for them. And just, you don't really get many fans out on the golf course, so it was cool to have a couple extra out there.
Awesome. Well, this question's for all 3 of you. Now that we've hit the end of the fall semester, what are some things that all 3 of you are really wanting to work on as we prepare for the spring championship portion of your schedule?
I think personally, I just want to settle into a good routine. Obviously need to work on short games, kind of my thing, and being a little bit more consistent off the tee. But I think just developing a routine with everybody downstairs, working hard.
For you, Ryan?
I think it's definitely bulking season for the guys' team for a little bit. And then I think everyone needs to get a little bit more comfortable shooting under par, down in the games, just getting ready for the spring.
Yeah, I think, it was definitely a flurry coming in, having 11 newcomers, joining 9 returners, and, the 9 freshmen were playing high school golf 5 months ago. So a lot to learn, and really, kind of taking everything we learned from the fall and what we need to get better at. And obviously all 20 of them have different games and need to get, better at different things, but trying to use, the resources we have, hopefully being able to improve downstairs and, really kind of sharpen, what we really need to do. Going off of what Ryan said, I definitely think we're going to be spending some time with, Coach Ryan from Strength and Conditioning. And, but yeah, looking forward to really kind of learning from, what we did in the fall. And then, obviously Miranda and I trying to help, all 20 of them take that next step we need to take, to be ready for the spring.
And just so people know, what you're alluding to is, we saw a number of times this fall where the team would finish top 3, top 4 in a tournament and birdies made. It was just maybe the second round that got us, or the second round of a 36-day hole, right? Is that why kind of the focus on consistency and building endurance?
Yeah, I think the second round, for the men's side, the second round was kind of the bugaboo per se for our 54-hole tournaments. We felt like we would come out strong and play, solid first rounds, and it was kind of that second round where, obviously it's a long day. Our student athletes are out there for, 10, 11, 12, 13 hours a day, which is completely different from other, other sports. So it's, a big physical test. It's a big mental test. In terms of, length of really having to be locked in.
For you two, looking at your guys' spring schedules, is there an event that stands out if you can't wait to go play that golf course?
I'm definitely looking forward to going back to Saddlebrook in Florida, I think.
I heard someone might be getting us on Pebble when we go to play Poppy Hills in Cali, so I think that would be really awesome.
And then sticking with you two, just, when the calendar does flip to February and we start the spring schedule again, what are some personal goals maybe you've set for yourself? What are some goals that you've set for the team as, we're trying to really try and play our best golf here in a couple months?
We're going to break 300. Easy. Many times in many tournaments this spring.
For you, Ryan?
I think definitely getting the scoring average a little bit lower and eliminating some of the big numbers that I kind of made this fall. So doing that. And then for the guys, let's get some more team rounds under par, I think.
And then, Coach, for you, just looking at the spring for what the women and men could accomplish, what are some maybe goals that you have for the teams in those tournaments?
Yeah, I think sky's the limit for all of them. Really, between now and February is a long time. A lot of things can happen. They can, put a lot of work into their games. But, I feel like, kind of echoing what both of them said in terms of, with the women, rounds under 300, I think we're more than capable of doing that. And, for the men, at least during my time here, we had our first, round under par, the first round at the Centennial Cup as a team, and kind of looking forward to more of those come springtime.
I know we're all excited to watch you guys this spring and what the future holds for the golf programs, but before we let you go, you guys got a little bit of a head start because you got to see men's soccer go through it, but just some rapid fire questions for you, starting with Meredith down there. What's the go-to Halloween costume?
I'm going to be Donkey Kong this year. We're doing a Mario Kart theme for the team, so Donkey Kong.
It's probably Superman in disguise, Clark Kent.
Right. I expected more out of Ryan. I really did. What about you, Coach? When you did dress up, what was the go-to?
I mean, I haven't dressed up since college, but a good old-fashioned nerd was probably the best Halloween costume that I came up with.
Good enough. All right, favorite scary movie?
Monster House.
The Saw series.
That? None. I would have to sleep with the lights on for like 3 days.
Not
a single one.
Saw was my adolescence. That's when those movies started coming out, so I'm with you there on that, Ryan. Snow in the forecast. We're anticipating our first snow of the winter this weekend. You a skier or a snowboarder?
Skier.
I actually have never gone, but I was supposed to learn snowboarding this winter. Coach might have shut that one down, though.
Back in the day, I used to snowboard.
I would definitely recommend you try skiing for snowboarding. Snowboarding is not the way. For golfers only, favorite golf course and why? It doesn't have to be from this season, just the favorite golf course you've ever played and why.
Mine's probably Papago in Arizona.
Is there a reason?
I played it in like 120 degrees, and then just a core memory with me and my buddy out there playing it.
I played the honors course in Ottawa, Tennessee, which is it's one of the most difficult courses in the States, and it was such a fun challenge. Yeah.
How'd you shoot?
75, so it's pretty good.
What about you, Coach? Favorite golf course you've played?
Pinehurst #2 in North Carolina.
Classic. How'd you shoot?
Oh, I did okay. Yeah, I did okay.
Held your own?
Yeah.
Almost got your tour card that day?
No, but I did okay.
And then if you didn't play your current sport, if you weren't a collegiate golfer, what sport would you have focused on?
I was a swimmer all my life, so swimming.
I played baseball my whole life.
Soccer was my sport. So
Positions for all three of you. Let's see what event for swimming?
Freestyle. I was a sprinter, 50 meters.
I was pitcher.
left back.
And then looking back on the fall semester, what has been your favorite moment? Could have been from a practice session, could have been a road trip, could have been one of the tournaments you've played in. Just what has been your favorite moment of this fall semester to date?
Boy. Albuquerque. Hot air balloons.
Probably congratulating Javier after he shot 67 at Walnut for his college low.
Yeah, a lot of good moments. I think, a couple of them for both teams, definitely watching Javi shoot 67 was, a pretty big moment. Watching Schwaner come back after foot injury to play in the Centennial Cup and coming out firing and ultimately shooting 71 was a pretty cool moment. For the girls, probably that road trip to Albuquerque was pretty special. But yeah, watching them, multiple times this fall take big steps with all five of them, being in the 70s at one point or another. But yeah, a lot of good moments. Looking forward to building in those on the springtime.
I want to thank all three of you for joining us. Wish you actually take a breath, get to relax this winter a little bit, but wish you the best of luck as we move into the spring. And then when we return on the Ranger Roundup, we will be talking some Regis volleyball with head coach Joel List and junior defensive specialist Bree Scala.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the final segment of the Ranger Roundup. Joining us now is head volleyball coach Joel List and junior defensive specialist Bree Scala from your number 12 ranked Regis Rangers. Welcome.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Coaches, a lot has happened since we talked about a month ago. Team is tied for the RMAC lead with 5 RMAC matches remaining to go. Still in the hunt for a conference title and possibly the right to host regionals. How exciting is this time of year with so many possibilities in front of you?
Yeah, we had some help from some other teams last weekend. We'd gone out to Mesa, lost to Mesa, and had to refocus on the things that we were doing. But it's awesome now that we have the opportunity to control our own destiny. I think a lot of teams don't have that opportunity, so it's great for us to be able to do that. It's motivated our team. We just had a great practice. Actually, they're still practicing now. And so we feel good about it. It's exciting going into this weekend with some more of those plays, or it's non-conference play, but great teams.
Yeah, as you allude to, we take a break from RMAC play this week and we go into a regional pod play with matches against number 7 MSU Denver, number 11 Colorado Mesa. It's almost like a little Colorado premiere, isn't it?
Yeah, high level caliber teams. It's nice that we're able to do that power pod here. It's something new to the conference. They've never done anything like this, but we changed the way the conference schedules, and we'll see how it works out. I like it so far. And we are able to go over to Metro. That just so happens because they finished first last year, so they host the Power Pod with us in Mesa. Non-conference games, so we just talked about it before the practice today, and we can go out and have some fun against some really good competition. Our team has always done well against great competition, like the Premier. I thought we did a great job against that good competition.
And this question for both of you, just kind of what do you anticipate with 2 rivalry games back-to-back against teams that you know very, very well?
I think you hit the nail on the head when you talk about Premier. That's back-to-back within one day of top 10 level teams. So we've been there and been around it, and we handled it well. Emotions can be something that you got to think about and handle, and we talked about that today. And so I'm excited to going into it. Bree, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think Metro and Mesa are really good teams. We've saw that already from Mesa this past weekend, and I think that going into it, we're going to have really fun matches and high-intensity volleyball, which we're really excited about.
To brag on the numbers, Coach, I know you're a numbers guy. Entering this week, team leads the RMAC or is in the 2 or top 3 in a ton of categories. But 2 that really jump out to me is that we lead the RMAC right now in team hitting percentage at 281. Also lead the RMAC in lowest opponent hitting percentage at 141 defensively. Just want to hear from both of you on what really goes into, you just don't see that yin and yang very often of a top-ranked offense and a top-ranked defense and how they play off of each other and what goes into those numbers.
Yeah, it's very structured on how I go about with practice. It's not all willy-nilly. We want to make sure that we score points at a high level, and then when we do that, it makes our defense better. So if we're scoring at a high level, our defense, and I challenge people like Bree to make sure that they don't let us do that. And so I think the balance going back and forth, the yin and the yang, helps in our gym. And so we need to score 18 points a set and earn them, and we can't have a lot of unforced errors. But if we force our opponents to do the same, you have results like that. But a lot of it, I want to give compliments to our defense for the opponent hitting percentage. Mara within our offense can create that, and our hitters are doing a great job of being able to put the ball away.
And for you, Bree, being a player on the court, when you're watching your offense hit 400, 500, 700 in a set, how are you guys still just staying mentally in? It's like, our offense is clicking right now, but we are still not going to let the ball hit the ground. We are still going to rise to the occasion defensively.
I think we do a good job just holding each other accountable on the court and making sure that we get those balls up for our hitters so that they're able to do that. And our block also gives us a good opportunity they do a lot of defensive work for us and setting that good block up. And I think they've done a good job that season, and that's able for us to get a lot of balls up so that we have a high hitting percentage. So
I think blocking's one of the categories that we might be at the lead,
Number
and
2,
that definitely helps in our opponent's hitting percentage. Yeah.
All right. Well, Bree is a fellow Nebraska native with Coach List. Tell us a little bit about how Regis got on your radar. Did you guys know each other? Did you know her high school coaches? What was the relationship? How did you end up on Regis's radar, and how did Regis end up on your radar?
My high school coach, Renee Saunders, she was friends with Ashley, so that's how I figured out about Regis and came on my visit and fell in love with the girls and the team, and all the coaches were super nice. And I love the campus, and I've always wanted to come near the mountains and get away from home, so I think it was a good opportunity for me. So, yeah.
Well, Coach, I know you recruited her as a defensive specialist, but earlier this year we had a fun moment when Bree recorded her first 2 kills of her career in a win over Black Hills. Bree, first, did you know at the time that those were your first 2 career kills, and are you trying to lobby Coach to let you play outside hitter moving forward?
I did not know those were my first 2 kills of the year, or career, I guess. But yeah, it was fun to get some kills as a defense player. I feel like that doesn't really happen that often. But yeah, maybe coach will put me in outside this weekend.
I have to look at her. She's hitting 1,000, so she's the best hitter on our team. Despite her height disadvantage, you can't ignore those numbers. So we are looking at her to start against Metro tomorrow.
I did not include her hitting numbers in my game notes I sent over to Metro earlier today. They have no clue.
Yes.
Ace in the hole.
Yes, thanks.
Coach Bree has been an impact player for you since she got here in 2021. Last month's show, we talked with Haley Kennedy about some of the things that go into being a defensive specialist. What skill set does maybe Bree bring to the table specifically, and how do her and Haley play off each other when they're in the back row?
Yeah, Haley being a veteran libero at left back has established herself there, and then Bree's established herself in middle back. And statistically, that's where a lot of balls go, and that's why our opponent's hitting percentage is what it is. They've connected really well, but she also brings a really good serve. And then the X factor for Bree is the energy she brings to the court, which helps, especially in times of need when maybe we need a little boost. Bree definitely brings that. She's versatile. She can play left back just as well. She's quick, so middle backs need to be really quick and cover a lot of ground, and she's able to do that, so that's why she's there.
What about for you, Bree? How has your role grown, and just how comfortable are you now in your role in the 3 years, as much as you've played in the system?
Yeah, I think since freshman year, all the upperclassmen really brought me in and was able to bring me into the court. So I was able to build a lot of connections with them, and they really took me under their wing, especially Haley. I think we've grown and really connected over these past years, and so we're able to play good next to each other.
Well, turning our attention forward, as we prepare for these final couple of weeks of the regular season, what do you guys think are some of the biggest keys for the team, for us to challenge for a couple of RMAC championships and be playing, hopefully deep into December?
You want to go first? You want me?
You got it.
All right, so we got to play our game. We're a great team, and we're the only thing that can get in our own way. And so figuring out when we do struggle with some of those times when we get in our own way, how do we get out of that? How do we continue to play clean, because we have been? And then the last thing, enjoy each other, enjoy the game, enjoy the great games that are coming up. And I think that's going to be the key to our success.
Yeah, going off to enjoying the game, I think that we have 4 super seniors, if you call them that. But so we want to give them the opportunity to make it far in December, and I think that we've really established a good connection between everyone from freshmen to the super seniors. We have a wide range of ages, so we've tried to fill those gaps and create those relationships and just get to know everyone and bring that into the court. And also we've talked a lot about just staying in the present moment while we're playing out there and have some fun. Yeah.
And Coach, your answer made me think of an answer that you gave me after the Western Colorado win. Team was facing set point for Western multiple times. You didn't call a timeout. You forced them to get through it and learn from it. Mm-hmm. Is that maybe the biggest difference from this year's team to last year's team, or the difference in playing the kind of volleyball you want to play in December is how they handle those moments?
Yeah, we have to, just like I answered that one after the game, we have to be put in some scenarios now to be able to handle it later. And so that scenario, it was obviously not planned, but I thought it was a great opportunity to get our team to figure things out, because we're going to be in a scenario just like that against a really good team, and I won't have any timeouts. I'll have probably called them earlier in the match, and our team has to figure out how to do that. And I wanted to see if they are able to do that, and if not, we can help them out, and we have time right now to do that. But they did. They faced off a couple set points in that second set against Western. So they definitely grew, and I think that's a different from last year to this year, that urgency and having a lot of super seniors know this is their last chance. We didn't have that last year. I think that is something different this year.
Well, I know we'll all be rooting on for you guys and watching anticipation these next couple weeks. But before we let you go, before we let you get back to practice, do have a couple rapid-fire questions for you.
All right, shoot.
So, Bree, first, what's the go-to Halloween costume? And are you going to be in tomorrow's Halloween? Actually, no, you play tomorrow. Never mind. Never mind.
Go-to Halloween costume, probably Batman.
that would have had a solid chance of winning tomorrow's costume contest.
Nice. Me too.
Yeah.
I'm not a big costume guy, but I do walk around with something in my pocket. And this is usually my go-to Halloween costume.
It's a wonderful look.
You like it?
I just think that should be your Tuesday look, not a Halloween look.
All right, next.
Favorite scary movie?
Oh.
I really don't like scary movies, but I think Hocus Pocus is scary, so I'm going to go with that one.
Disney Channel stepping over the
Oh
line
my
of Hocus
gosh.
Pocus.
Actually, when we were on our long road trip 3 weeks ago, I Redbox rented Hocus Pocus and Halloween, and they all thought Halloween was way too scary if they think Hocus Pocus is. But I like Halloween. I'll go with Halloween. It's scary.
No nightmares. Are you good, Coach?
No, but I feel like they may have had some. Maybe that had to do with our loss. Would have been my fault.
We have to cover a couple holidays because this will be the last time I get to talk to you guys. Best side dish at Thanksgiving?
Oh, wow. Mashed potatoes.
Ooh, I'll one up that cheesy potatoes.
Oh, those are good.
And Coach, you can maybe touch on this real quick. Just this year's a little bit different where we get the Thanksgiving break off with regionals the ensuing week. So
yeah, I love this schedule. Last year was a festival year, so they have to back everything up for fall sports, or for volleyball anyway. But yeah, it's we play conference tournament, we have a break, then go to regionals so we can reset ourselves and get ready for postseason for NCAA.
With the winter's first snow in the forecast for this weekend, are you a skier or are you a snowboarder?
I'm a skier.
When do you do that?
Never.
I started off as skiing. I tried snowboarding, not for me and my body, but definitely a skier.
Joel, you cannot answer this one because he answered it last month. This is just for Bree. If you didn't play your current sport, what would your next sport be?
Mine would have to be tennis.
Just lifelong love of tennis? Did you play tennis in high school?
I played tennis in high school. I picked it up my freshman year, and me and my friend just did it for fun and went all 4 years, so it was a good time.
Good thing she's an outside hitter on for volleyball.
That's her arm swing. I would probably pick pickleball then if she was doing tennis.
And then, we still have a lot of games, a lot of moments still upcoming in these next couple of weeks, but if you reflect on the fall semester to this point, what has been your favorite moment?
My favorite moment is just getting these last moments with our super seniors. I think just cherishing every moment. We've been having a fun time this year, and I think just enjoying all of it.
I thought you're talking a lot about Premier earlier and how it relates to their matchups this weekend. I had a lot of fun during Premier. It's just such a high level of 4 matches against all ranked teams. That I think right now is the highlight of this season.
And we crushed Premier. Premier on our campus was fantastic that weekend. All right, well, again, I want to wish both of you the best of luck moving forward in these next couple of weeks. We all rooting and paying attention and wishing for the best. And again, so pod this weekend, and then Senior Day, November 4th against MSU Denver, with that match could potentially be deciding who the RMAC title is.
We need to see everybody out there on November 4th.
Again, thank you guys. That'll do it for the October episode of the Ranger Roundup. I want to again thank Coach List and Bree, as well as our other guests this evening. Also want to thank Regis ITS for helping us put on this program every month. We will be seeing you back in November when we talk some Regis hoops as they gear up for their 23-24 season. Have a good night.